Okay, Logic Pro X. We've had a lot of people writing in saying, you're going to be doing some tutorials on Logic Pro X, because I do these Logic Pro tutorials. And here we are. Yes, we are going to be doing this. So this is going to be like an introduction to Logic Pro X. Well, it's a bit late in coming, but I had to, I've got my work Mac, the one I use for all these videos. It's very stable, set up with Snow Leopard and Logic 9 and video editing and everything like that. I don't want to mess with it, so I had to get a new disk and install, download and install Mountain Lion and get it all set up, and then download and install Logic. And then I discovered that my screen capture software wouldn't work with Mountain Lion, so I had to spend days. It took me bloody days trawling around the internet, trying to find a good, reliable screen capture software that would do what I wanted to do. But we finally got everything sorted out, so here we are, Logic Pro X. And it's been an odd one, this. You know what Apple are like. They don't tell you that a product is coming out. They just sort of creep up behind you and go, boo, here's a new product. And you go, oh my God, oh Christ, I didn't see that coming. Because they just announce it on the day it's released, Christ, bloody hell, I mean, not even people who are working for Apple know what the bloody hell the company's doing, it's ludicrous. But, it was, the usual thing. Suddenly it was there one day without any announcement, and I went and spent, looked on some forums to see what people are saying, and it was the usual. People were saying, well, we know what happened with Apple when they brought out Final Cut X. And obviously they were referring to the furore on Creative Cow from all the the experts who use Final Cut 7 and desperately try and pretend that Final Cut 7 is a great program and isn't bugged and flawed and absolutely completely useless. So they were all screaming and shouting, it's not so you got this thing on all these music forums. So what's the deal with this new Logic X then? Have they done what they did with Final Cut? They've dumbed it down like Final Cut, they made it into iMovie Pro. I bet they've done the same thing with Logic X. They've made it into GarageBand Pro, and it's not professional anymore. And people are like, no, they haven't done that. It is Logic Pro. It isn't GarageBand Pro. But I'm going to show you actually that it is GarageBand Pro, right? I mean, I've also had a look at not all, but a load of videos out there, first look at Logic Pro X, tutorials on Logic Pro X, all these videos, and everybody pretty much is piling in to show the new big features, the drummer, the new control panel with the knobs on it, and I can't remember what they call it, a quick edit or something, I don't know. The new synth, the new arpeggiator, the new bass amps. Everyone's piling in to show the big new features. But you know what I'm like. I'm not going to do that. We're going to look at it from the point, first of all, of structurally how the program has changed. Okay. Now, if you're transitioning to Logic Pro from GarageBand, okay, this video is for you. It's going to show you the basic layout of the new Logic Pro X. If you are a previous user of Logic 9 and you're not that experienced and you're looking to transition to Logic Pro X, again, this is for you. It's going to explain how the differences, or rather what the differences are, if any. It's a general look around the structure and the layout of Logic Pro X first before we get into the big new features, okay? And the first thing I want to show you is that Logic Pro X actually is GarageBand Pro, or it can be GarageBand Pro. And what I'm going to show you now, I bet you've not seen on any other video anywhere, because I haven't. I've watched loads of Logic Pro X videos and I've never seen Logic Pro shown in the mode I'm going to show it to you now. Okay, so let's start. Logic Pro X. We go to File, New, and here's the new project dialog box, okay, and it's nice graphic and everything. You can choose a template, hip-hop, electronic, songwriter, or multi-track. You can choose a recent project, and everything's laid out with these lovely graphic icons of the layout of the arrange area when the project was closed or last auto-saved or whatever. So you can choose these templates or empty project. There's also details down here which just allows you to set things for the project, basic things. But we'll choose empty project, and now watch this. I bet you've not seen Logic Pro X like this before. Here we go, empty project, boom, hello hello, and of course Logic prompts you to create your first track. So we'll choose a software instrument, open library is ticked by default, create, and there we have it. It's GarageBand Pro, look at it. Now you've probably not seen Logic Pro like this. I have not seen a single video on the internet that shows Logic Pro working in this mode. But this is Logic Pro in its basic unadvanced mode. Okay, and you can set it into that mode in the main menu here, Logic Pro X, Preferences, Advanced, and at the top of the Advanced menu there's Show Advanced Tools. Now watch, it'll reload. I'll put it into Advanced mode. Here we go, boom. It reloads in Advanced mode. Now this is Logic Pro X in its primary advanced mode. But if we detick this, boom, it goes back to its unadvanced basic mode. And if you're a beginner to Logic Pro X, or you have either you've never used Logic before and you want to get Logic Pro X, or you have just got it, or you're transitioning to Logic Pro X from GarageBand, or you're transitioning to Logic Pro X from Logic Pro 9, but you didn't spend much time with Logic Pro 9 and you're really not that sure about it, you're still learning, I would advise you straight away to put Logic into this unadvanced mode by deticking Show Advanced Tools in the Preferences Advanced menu. Detick it and put it into this primary basic mode, unadvanced mode, and it's GarageBand Pro. And don't let that put you off. All that happens when you put it into this unadvanced mode is that it strips away all the clutter and the advanced tools, but it's still absolutely and totally usable, but it's more like GarageBand. Okay, now first of all, no matter what mode you've got this new Logic Pro X in, advanced or other or non-advanced, the transport bar is along the top now, just like GarageBand. And in this non-advanced mode, we've got the wooden side cheeks, just like GarageBand. The transport bar across the top is all very familiar. The library opens on the left with the nice big graphic of the instruments. It's just like GarageBand Pro, which is what I'm calling it. I call this mode GarageBand Pro. It is GarageBand Pro, but it can be switched into Logic Pro by simply going to the menu and ticking Advanced on. Okay, so let's check it out in this unadvanced basic mode where the clutter is stripped out, and look at just the layout and the structure of Logic without all the extras in there. I will open one editor, the piano edit, like that, and this is the new Logic Pro X. Okay. And in this unadvanced mode, everything is cut down. But if you're transitioning to Logic Pro X from Logic Pro 9 and you're not that familiar with Logic Pro 9, don't worry, everything's the same. If you've been following our tutorials, everything's the same. Of course, Logic, Apple are not going to change the entire layout and the whole structure and the whole way Logic Pro works. Okay, they're not going to do that. All that's happened is it's had a graphic makeover. That's all that's happened. Okay, and there's a few additions, and some of the menus have moved, but everything that we've taught you, everything I've taught you in the previous tutorials for Logic Pro, it's all still the same. It just looks different. Okay, for example, now here's the local menu bar still living across the top of every editor. There's the local menu bar for the piano edit, which contains all the tools and the menus for piano edit. There's the local menu bar for the arrange area, which has all the tools and all the menus for the arrange area, only now they call it the workspace. Okay, and there's the local menu bar in score, and if we bring in the mixer, there's the local menu bar across the top of the mixer with the menus for the mixer. You see, just the same, it's just changed colour. Okay, now when we're in this cut down basic unadvanced Logic Pro X, which we'll call GarageBand Pro, all the advanced features have been taken out, so it just makes it really, really easy to get to work and to do things, right? Because let's have a look at what's different. Let's look at these local menu bars to start with, and the first thing that we notice is there's no snap menus. Look, no snap menu on the arrange area, local menu bar, and there's no snap on the piano edit local menu bar. There is no snap. In unadvanced mode, snap is removed. All snap is in smart. Okay, and in the arrange area there's no drag menu either for the drag preferences. So that's the first thing. No snap. All snapping is in smart. Second thing is the editors only have, their local menu bars only have one toolbox. There's only a left click tool. There isn't a right click or a command click tool. It's choose your tool, use it, choose the next tool, use it, left click tool only. Okay, and all the snap is now in smart. So if I put in a region like that, just zoom in. Okay, if we're moving regions around, they move by ticks, look, but they will snap their beginnings to bar lines, division lines, and beat lines like that, or otherwise they're in ticks. So it's smart, and it's the same for dragging the backs in and out. They're in ticks, but they'll snap to beat, division, and bar lines, and the same for the front. And then if we go into the piano edit here, and we shall just put some, actually I'll tell you what I'll do, just drag this forward. Come on. And it doesn't scroll when I drag. I wonder if it's because the walking, no it doesn't. So that's, oh, it is doing it now. Let's stick it on it. Come on! Drag! Jesus Christ. Right, here we go. I can't even see where is the actual beginning. Right, here we go. There's a bit of a graphic bug there. Okay, we'll put it there. So, and then in piano edit here, look. We'll just put in a few notes. Again, in the piano roll, there's only one toolbox. Left click tool only. Choose the pencil tool. Whack in a few notes. Whoops. Okay, and it's the same in piano edit for the snap. There is no snap menu. Everything is in smart. So when we're moving notes around, they move around in ticks, but the front end will snap to beats, divisions, or bar lines like that. Bar lines, divisions, beats, otherwise it's in ticks. And actually they've made the snapping a little bit more sticky now. It's not as bad as it was before. I'm still not that keen on smart, but it works fine now. It's perfectly fine to work with. Same for dragging the back of notes in and out. They're in ticks. It's all smart, but they'll stick to bar, beat, and division lines. Same with the front. Same. So everything's the same, but we just don't have the snap menu. And that means we can't do things like snap to absolute value, etc. It's all in smart. Snap for moving and dragging things around. Okay. So no snap menus, only a single left click tool. And the other thing about the local menu bars is that the menus are completely cut down to just the absolute basics when you've got Logic set up in this basic, unadvanced kind of GarageBand Pro mode. So no snap, one tool, drastically reduced menus with just the basics. Look up here, the local menu bar for the arrange area, very, very reduced menus. Okay, now there is one other thing, the track menu is moved up here. Regardless of what mode you've got Logic in, advanced or non-advanced, the track menu is up there now. And some of the commands that previously were in the local menu bar for the arrange area here, such as commands to do with the track automation, then up here now in this new mix menu. Okay, right. But that's the first primary thing that you notice about this unadvanced mode. It's just the cut down features. Only smart for the snap, one tool, reduce menus. Okay, but otherwise the program hasn't changed, has it? Look, it's all the same. You've still got the local menu bar with all the tools and all the menus for all the functions you need for that area that you're editing in, that the menu bar is for. Okay. Now, whether you're using Logic in this unadvanced GarageBand Pro mode or you put it into proper advanced mode, the library is now on the left, like GarageBand. Okay. So let's look at what we've got in this unadvanced mode. What other things are different? The layout is the same. The editors lie under the arrange area, but the inspector column is still there. Look, there it is on the left. You've still got the original channel strip for the actual selected track and the destination channel strip next to it in the inspector column. We've still got the region and track parameter box, but when you're running Logic in this Unadvanced mode, GarageBand Pro mode, you still have the track and region parameter boxes, but they're reduced in their features. They've only got the most basic features. Okay. What other things? Well, the transport bar is across the top now. Now, again, if you're in this GarageBand Pro unadvanced mode for Logic Pro, the transport bar, you can't edit it. You cannot edit any of the buttons or features that are on it. It's fixed. Again, simple. Okay. So we get the basic LCD display here. We don't get to see things like the hard disk and CPU activity or the division or anything like that. We just have this basic LCD display which has got 4 modes. This is the default, which shows the beats, which is the position of the playhead in bars, beats, divisions and ticks. We've got the beats per minute, the tempo, the key signature and the time signature. That's it. And you can put this display into 3 other modes: beats and time, which just gives you a big beat display and a big time display, or just a big beat display, or just a big time display. That's your lot. Okay. The transport buttons, you just get the basic buttons: record, play, stop, forward and rewind. That's it. Your kind of function icons here, you've just got the metronome on off, whether or not you have a count in, the tuner, which only opens on audio tracks, and it's been changed. They've improved the tuner, and cycle on off. That's it. There's your volume control for your monitors, you know, just to turn the volume down or up. And that's that. And then over here on the right we've got this bunch of icons. The library used to be over here. As I say, it's now moved to the left, the library, but the other editors, or rather the other columns, are over here, libraries. Here we've got our media column, and remember we're looking at Logic now in its unadvanced GarageBand Pro mode. Okay, it's all kept very simple. So the media column just has simple audio and movies. Then we've got our Apple loops, and then we've got a text notes editor column. We can make notes for the project, like that. And we can make notes for individual tracks, text notes. Just type in the notes you want, and when you're in track, you're typing notes for the currently selected and highlighted track. So we've got text notes, basic media, and Apple loops over there. But no list editors, not in this unadvanced mode. Everything's simple. And then over here we've got the other, these are really the editor on-off icons. So that's your library on-off, inspector column on-off. Then this new panel, I'm missing the question mark out for a minute, we'll come to that. Smart controls, which brings in this new panel down at the bottom there, smart controls, on-off. Mixer, on-off. And editor, on-off. And by default the editor opens piano edit if you've got an instrument or MIDI track selected. If you've got an audio track selected, it will open the audio editor. Okay. Very, very simple. Okay. Now, what else? Okay, on the track header column here, we don't have a duplicate when we're in this basic Logic Pro mode, where we're in kind of GarageBand Pro mode rather than Logic Pro X full-blown advanced. We don't get a create new duplicate track icon. We only get new tracks. There's no step up out of folders because we don't get folders in unadvanced mode. So we just get add new track icon, and we can show and hide global tracks here, but we don't get markers. We just get these arrangement markers, tempo by default, and we can bring in movie and transposition. That's it. No markers. Okay. Okay, other things that have changed. Well, in keeping with corporate policy to remove more and more actual human workers and sack them, we can see that Apple have given the sack to the walking man. He's been booted out on his ear. Sorry mate, here's your cards, you're unemployed. Remember the little walking man? Yeah, he's been replaced, right, by this little icon, which is a graphic of the playhead. So the little graphic for catch playhead is no longer the little walking man, it's now this playhead icon. Okay, that's the catch playhead icon. Down here on piano edit we can open our hyperdraw underneath for the controllers, you know, like that. Whoops, highlight the region. Hyperdraw, there it is, but they call it MIDI draw now. But we open it with the same icon. The icon is just the same. It's a little graphic of the nodes for velocity, but it's living up here now on the local menu bar instead of at the bottom of the piano edit before, where it was before. So that opens Hyperdraw, but it's now called MIDI draw. Okay, now the other thing that's different with the piano edit, and this is the same whether you're in this cut down unadvanced Logic Pro mode or you're in advanced mode, the quantize, all the quantize stuff used to be here on the local menu bar with drop down lists. They've moved all that now over to the left of the piano keys. Okay, so that's some different stuff, and you've got your global tracks here as well, but in this cut down Logic mode you'd still get the basics, the arrangement marker track, which is not the same as markers, tempo, and you can bring in movie and transposition if you want, but there's no markers in this basic mode, right? The other thing you'll notice is that when we open the editor, we've only got a choice of piano roll or score. That's it. There is no hyper edit anymore. Well, there is, but you don't get hyper edit when you're running Logic in this unadvanced GarageBand Pro mode. Everything's kept simple, so you're given a simple piano edit or score. That's it. But the hyper editor, you know, the one with the lanes going across that you could put into general MIDI drum mode and all that, you don't get that when you're running this Logic like this in this unadvanced GarageBand Pro mode. Okay, only the piano edit and the score edit. What else we got? Okay, up here, the preferences menu. In unadvanced, we've only got two preferences. General, which is basically what to do, you know, project handling, what to do when Logic starts, and you can define a default template there. And the audio menu, which is very, very simple. Come on. Come on. Don't crash on me now. Here we go. The audio menu, and it's only got two things: the devices and MP3. And in devices, it's just the most basic settings. You can assign your audio device, set the buffer size, and optionally choose 24-bit recording. That's it. There's no other parameters, and you can just set your default favoured MP3 encoding preference. That's it. Advanced has got nothing except the tick to bring it into advanced mode. So there's only two preferences. Look. Other things, we've got no control surfaces menu, and we cannot edit key commands when we're in this basic Logic Pro GarageBand Pro mode. Okay, unadvanced. All we can do is choose a language key command preset, but we cannot edit our key commands. So it's all cut down to make sure that the beginner can't get confused or screw things up or mess things up, and you can just get on and work. Very, very, very simple. But don't think that you can't do things with it like this. You can really do some great work like this, but it's simple, really simple. Now, no key commands, okay, but I'm going to show you some key commands that are out of the box in this, whether or not you're in this advanced or a basic, or you switch it into advanced mode. But key commands to open the editors, even though in the view menu here you can see each, you know, editor, library, inspector, mixer, smart controls, editors, etc. And then you can see the key commands next to them. It looks as if the library doesn't have a key command, but actually it does. It's assigned to the Y for Yankee key. So here's your basic key commands out of the box, just to tie it in with the previous tutorials, so we can, you know, give you something to get going with. Y opens and closes the library, Y for Yankee. I for India still opens and closes your inspector column. B for Bravo opens this new Smart Controls panel, B for Bravo. X for X-ray opens and closes your mixer. And E for Echo opens and closes your editor. Okay, now over here, these lesser used columns over here, some of them have got key commands. Alt and N to open the notes, and F to open the browser, but they haven't assigned one to Apple Loops. And opening the colour palette is still Alt and C. Alt C. But look, they've reduced the number of colours that we've got. It's terrible. There's no grey. There's no white. There's no black. It's just, and we can't design our own custom colours anymore. It's just awful. You can in Score. There's a whole still colour palette editor for Score, but not for the rest of the programs, sadly, and a lot of people are complaining about that. And especially awful is the omission of grey. But anyway, There we are. That's the colour. It still is on Alt C. Okay. So this is your basic Logic Pro. It's really easy to use, and for the beginner, it's a complete no-brainer because it's like GarageBand Pro, but just a little bit more detailed. And then you can go into advanced mode. So my advice is, as I say, if you're transitioning from GarageBand or you're a beginner to Logic completely and you want to buy into Logic Pro X, or you're coming from Logic Pro 9 but you're not really that sure about it, switch it into this basic mode and start like this. Get familiar, get flying around and building tracks and songs, and then when you're familiar and you want to bring in the advanced tools, bring them in, and we'll show what comes in when they come in. And it doesn't change things. All it does is add more things on the toolbars and more things to the menus. That's all it does. Okay, but this is the layout, and nothing's changed, is my point here. Nothing has changed. We still have our inspector column on the left, we still have the region and track parameter boxes at the top. This is the channel strip for the selected track header, and there's its destination channel strip. Everything's the same. The mixer is the same. There's just a couple of new features on the mixer channel strips. They're just graphically different. That's all. Nothing's changed in the mixer. In the piano edit, nothing's changed except that Quantize is now over here on the left, but everything else is the same. When we bring it into advanced mode and the snap menu appears and the two toolboxes appear and all the menus become full, it's the same. It's exactly the same. It's just had a graphic makeover. So don't worry if you've been following the previous tutorials, nothing has changed. Everything we taught you is identical in this version of Logic. It just looks different. But for the beginner, using Logic Pro in this way, it's a no-brainer. You know, you just go, you're the beginner, complete beginner, you put it into this basic mode, and it's as simple as pie. You just go, right, I make a track, click the plus, add a new track, software instrument, create, open libraries, you know, by default. You create a new track. The library opens on the left with a nice big picture of the instruments. I want a bass. Oh look, it's an electric bass but muted. I mean, how hard is it? And then the beginner sees the graphic of the instrument and just plays their master keyboard. I don't have a master keyboard, but I'll bring in the caps lock keyboard, which is not the caps lock keyboard anymore. You can't get it with the caps lock now. It's you have to open it from the view menu. It's the window menu. It's now called musical typing, and then they just play their keyboard. Move up the octave, look. Oh yeah. Whoops, don't know what I did that by mistake. Come on. Yeah, undo Z. Hello, undo Z. Thank you. Yeah, and they just play along. Oh, I like that sound, or I'll try this other bass. Oh, it's another electric bass but picked. So imagine the beginners there with their master keyboard. They just choose the picture of the instrument, play their keyboard, and when they've got the instrument they want, they go, oh, about a drum machine. A drum machine. The picture changes to a drum machine. Bring it down to the bottom octave. Should be able to play it now, I think. I didn't want to do that. That's the one thing I can't play on the musical keyboard. C0, C1. Yeah, and then they, you know, play in a beat and make the drum beat or whatever. Okay, and there's other drum machines, you know. Or they go, I'll have a guitar. How about an acoustic guitar? Oh, an acoustic guitar, yes. And they play it a little bit and they think, yeah, oh, I'll have this classic clean guitar. Or this hard rock guitar. They get their sound by just looking at the pictures, choosing a thing here, seeing the picture, playing along, playing on the master keyboard, finding the sound they want. Synths, there's loads of synths, you know. Or pads. Or plucked instruments, whatever. And there's a nice graphic showing them the instrument. They audition it, they go, right, you know, whatever, bass. Muted bass. I'll go for that bass. And then they play in their bass line, hit record, play in their bass line. They end up with a region like that with what they've played. Put the cycle range on. and then you think, okay, I want to edit that, press the E key, open the editor, there's no snap menus to worry about, nothing like that, and they just go, oh, I want that note to be up in that pitch, or oh, I want that note to be further back there, or oh, I'd like the note to be further forward, or I'd like it to be shorter or longer. It's easy, easy as pie. You know, if they want to do the velocity, drop the thing down, velocity tool, let's change the velocity of some of the notes. You know, easy peasy. Okay, simple as pie to get stuff going for the beginner. I think it's an absolutely fantastic idea Apple have come up with here to give you this ability to transition from GarageBand or from no familiarity with Logic to get it set up in the most basic way, so it's really, really easy to use. And once you're familiar with the basics, whack it into advanced mode and start learning the advanced features. It's brilliant. And what's even better about it, let me close the library, which is Y for Yankee. Put the inspector column on. Now we've got this question mark thing here which I haven't shown yet. Quick help, this icon up here, quick help. But also you can get to it with help in the Logic menu here. Help, quick help. You either click quick help there or click this question mark icon, and if the inspector column is open, quick help opens at the top of the inspector column, and it can be closed and hidden. If the inspector column, turn it off, if the inspector column is not open and you open quick help, it opens as a float and you can size it. Okay, so I'm going to leave it sized just to show you what this amazing quick help does, and I strongly recommend that you open the quick help and have a look around, because every single thing that you mouse over, the quick help tells you what it is. Look, I'm just mousing over the grey background of this, and it tells me control bar contains buttons and displays for key projects and application functions. Metronome button, and you get a one-sentence description. Count in button, you get a one-sentence description. Tuner button, cycle button, and then over the LCD display it tells you what each thing is. Time signature display, key signature display, tempo display, beats position display, display mode pop-up menu, and then the transport, record, play button, stop button, forward, rewind, and it tells you what these buttons are for. Inspector, smart controls, mixer button, etc. It tells you, mousing now over the track headers, just mouse over any of the background of a track header. Track header, mouse over the name field, mouse over the volume fader, pan, record enable button, solo button, mute button, track icon, over the plus button here, add new track button, over the hide show global tracks button. What about these icons along here? Catch button, turn on scrolling, the active workspace, everything you mouse over, it tells you what it does. Like this fader up here, look, master volume slider, put it over a region, MIDI region, put it over this, ruler, over here, left click tool menu, over here, vertical zoom slider, horizontal zoom slider, vertical zoom slider, horizontal. Everything you mouse over it tells you what it is. Workspace, piano roll grid, over a MIDI note event, over the playhead area here, ruler, over this quantize thing here, strength slider, swing slider, velocity slider, everything you mouse over. MIDI draw button, mouse it over a little node here, MIDI draw area, see what I mean? Catch button, global tracks, but everything is explained. Score editor, piano editor, everything is explained in this quick help. But what is brilliant about it is this. Look, I mouse over the transport up here, look, put it over the play, and my quick help down here, or if it's in the inspector column up there, look, if the inspector column is open and it's open as a float, the quick help, if you close it, it then pops up in the top of the inspector column and you can drag it away from there and float it. Okay. So look, I'm going to mouse over the transport bar up here, and I mouse over the play button, and it says play button. Start playback from the playhead position or from the left locator shown in the ruler when in cycle mode. But after every single description, no matter what you're mousing over, you get a one sentence basic description, and then it says press command / for more information. So I mouse over the play button on the transport here, and it says in the quick help, play button, brief, and then you get a very brief 1-sentence description, and then it ends with press command / for more information. Leave the mouse over the play button and then press command / and hey presto, it takes you straight to the manual, to the correct part of the manual for the more detailed information about playback and stopping playback and stuff. It's absolutely incredible. I'm mousing over the record enable button on the track header, and my quick help says record enable button. Arm the track for recording. Press command / for more, and it opens the manual at the bit about enable tracks for recording in the right place. So the beauty of it's fantastic. The beauty of this quick help system is that you can quickly zip around and find out what everything is with a very, very, very basic 1-sentence description. Ruler. Okay, it shows time division in bars, beats, but if you want to know more, just command / and it takes you to the manual, to the right place for a full explanation of the ruler or whatever you're mousing over. It's just absolute genius. Very, very, very clever. So my advice is to get this quick help going and mouse around and just see what all the things are if you're a beginner. And if you want a more detailed explanation, look, cycle area. Let's zoom this in so you can see it. Look, where were we? Cycle area. Yeah, over the orange cycle area there. Look, cycle area. Used to repeatedly play or record over the project section within the yellow bar. Drag the bar to move the range or the edges. Blah blah blah. Press command / It takes you into the manual, right to the bit about the cycle area. So the beauty of this quick help is that it's tied into the manual, and it allows you to jump to the right place in the manual instantly without having to search and trawl through the manual and all that nonsense. It's absolute genius. Okay, now just to remind ourselves, if we turn it off, if the inspector column is shut and we switch on quick help either here with that icon and off, or by going to the help menu and left clicking on quick help so that then it's ticked, quick help is ticked. If the inspector column is shut, it opens as a float which can be moved in anywhere and sized. Close it. Either close it with the X there or close it with that. But if the inspector column's open, it opens at the top of the inspector column and it can be closed and hidden. But it can be dragged away from there to be floated. It can be resized and then close it, and if the inspector column's open, it snaps back on the top of the inspector column again. Absolutely invaluable. Okay? Even for the more advanced user it's valuable because it allows the advanced user to quickly jump to anywhere in the manual that they want for a particular topic that they just want to brush up on or just want to check something about. Yeah? Absolutely fantastic, this quick help. Okay, so I absolutely recommend you get into that. Okay, that's a quick help. What other things? Well, zooming. Again, it doesn't matter whether you're in this cut down non-advanced Logic Pro mode, in this kind of GarageBand Pro mode, or whether you're in the advanced mode. Our zoom palettes are now up here at the top right of the local menu bar for each editor, and they work really, really well now. I mean, thank God they've changed that. No more that awful vertical scroll zoom that you had in the horizontal scroll, or dragging the widget, location widget to be big. You know, no, it's all up here now and it works really well. Really quick, vertical zoom, really, really quick and accurate. Here, vertical zoom, really quick and accurate. Same with the horizontal zoom, fast as anything, really, really good. Fantastic. So zooming is easy and a joy now. The other thing is, out of the box, no matter which mode you've got Logic in, okay, if you put a cycle range like, you know, here around a section of the music or around a region, and you want to fit that cycle range exactly to your edit window width, out of the box the key command is, and you have to make sure the correct edit window is, you know, you've clicked on that local menu bar for that window to make that the active edit window, otherwise the key command will happen in another edit window which is active. Okay, so you make sure that's the active edit window. I want to zoom this cycle range to fit across there perfectly. But out of the box, the key command is Control Shift Z. Boom, and it fits. And no more jumping, it fits perfectly. Same down in the piano edit. Click the local menu bar to make that the active editor. We want to fit the cycle range to fit perfectly across the edit window of the piano edit. Control Shift Z. Boom, and it fits across the width of the piano edit absolutely perfectly. But now there's no more jumping around like it used to do sometimes. It fits perfectly. Absolutely brilliant. Now the other thing is, out of the box, we can zoom with these with the zoom palette tools here, horizontal or vertical. But out of the box, again, regardless of whether Logic is in advanced or non-advanced mode, out of the box, zoom is assigned to Command and the up-down arrow keys and left-right arrow keys. So in whatever editor is active, Command, arrow down to zoom in vertically, arrow up to zoom out vertically, and Command, arrow left and right to zoom horizontally in and out. And it works really nice. Same in this edit window here. Command, left to zoom out horizontally, right arrow to zoom in horizontally, up and down arrows to zoom vertically in and out. Okay? Pardon me. Just having a smoke actually. And for those, some people have written in and said with their comments, you know, every so often I get someone who comments about, I can hear you smoking, and some people say, oh, I've just given up and it's making me want a cigarette, or other people have said, try and cut your smoking down because we want you around to do more Logic tutorials. I've actually started going to the gym 4 months ago, and I'm actually fit as a fiddle at the moment compared to what I was like a couple of years back when I was doing these Logic tutorials over that period of time. Yeah, I've been going to the gym a lot now, and I still smoke a little bit from time to time, but you know, I've started my gym and started me jogging again, and I'm back to my old self now, really. So another thing I'm going to do is I've got some new software for screen capturing and things, and I'm going to start putting up much more videos now, because now I've moved up to this mountain lion, I'm actually liking it, and this new screen capture software I'm using is absolutely brilliant, and it's going to save me a lot of time. So I'll be able to put up more videos more often. So hopefully we'll have more content now. I'll be putting stuff up more often. But there it is. I mean, there's your basic introduction to this Logic Pro. The layout. Okay? Because you know I don't do things like the other people out there. I'm not going to pile in and go, right, the new Logic Pro. You know, because it's what everyone else is doing. The new Logic Pro. You know, forget about how the graphics has changed and if the layout has changed at all. You don't want to know about that, do you? No, you don't care if the program that you've been using has changed or how it's changed. You don't want to know that. What you want to know about is this wonderful new drummer. So they pile straight in. You know, and they show you this. Hello? They show you this new drummer. Yeah, look at this new drummer, mate. It's a great new feature, and it's all, you know, the new drummer. And all this business. You know, the new drummer, they'll go in and show you that. Or they're going to go in and show you. They're going to go in and show you the new synth. I hope I can get it up. The new synth. Let's look at the inspector column. You want the new? Oh no, that's the S2. Well, I'll bring it up. Where is it? This new synth they've got. Retro synth. Okay, it's a great synth. We'll get to this. Okay, we never even did instruments in my old tutorials. I'm teaching you how to use Logic, not how to play around with different synths. Okay, but there's this new synth, and it's great, and it does 3 different types of synthesis. Okay, so you step through and it'll do this kind of, you know, like old analog style synth. It looks like this when it's doing old analog stuff with, you know, leatherette, vinyl and wood, but there's no step forward the presets here, is there? But if you get into some of the other sounds, it changes. If it's a wavetable sound, it changes to a PPG look, you know, blue. And if you get into an FM sound, can I find an FM sound? No, come on. When you're in this advanced mode, there's no, you can't go next, previous with the presets. You just drop down only, because they want you to use the library, you see. In fact, I should use the library over here, I suppose. Okay, let's see. But, so it's analog, wavetable, you know, it looks like a PPG, or some of the sounds it'll switch and it'll look like a DX when it does FM. And it's actually a brilliant little synth, absolutely fantastic. But, you know, so people will pile in these Logic Pro X things and go, look at the new Logic Pro X, look at the new synth, let's look at this, or let's look at the new drummer track, or let's look at the new, I've got to make an audio track for this, audio, let's look at the new, let's look at the new bass amps, because it's got this new bass amp. You know, like Logic 9 brought in these new guitar amps, right? Was it 9 or 8 or both? I can't remember if they came in 9 or 8. But now they've got this new bass amp. There's lots and lots of settings. It does ampegs, it does all sorts. And it is actually bloody good. Really good, actually. And it's brilliant for putting synths through. And you can choose different types of mic. Yeah, and you can position the mic. You know, all the rest of it, just like with the guitar amp. Absolutely brilliant. Okay? Yes, but... you know, or there's the new arpeggiator, because we've got MIDI effects now, so people pile straight in to show the new arpeggiator or the new MIDI effects. You know, like there's a transposer, yeah, and there's a velocity processor. You know, all these different MIDI effects, but that's not how I do things. So what we have looked at first is the layout. Oh, the other thing that people are piling in to show is the new, I always forget what they call this, the new smart controls, which is this new panel that gives you instant access to the most commonly required parameters for tweaking, with these huge knobs that are really easy to move with the mouse, and when you move them they write automation data, and they can be easily assigned to hardware controllers, etc, or changed, blah blah blah. You know, so people are piling in to show all these big new features, but I will come to that. Okay, what I'm showing you here is that the structure of Logic is the same. We still have the channel strip, the inspector column here on the left, and it still shows the channel strip and destination strip for the selected track header. We still have the local menu bars. It doesn't matter what mode Logic is in, whether it's in this basic mode or we switch it to advanced and bring in more features. We still have the local menu bars living across the top of every edit window, with all the tools and functions and menus for that editor. We still have the inspector column with the channel strip for the track and its destination. We still have the MIDI region and track parameter boxes. You know, nothing's changed. The mixer is the same. Look at the mixer, it's just the same. It's just changed graphically, but there's just a couple of extra things. If you've got a compressor on the track now, or a limiter, you've got a gain reduction meter that flickers if the compressor flickers, so you can see gain reduction without having to get into and open the compressor. And any instrument or MIDI channels will have the MIDI effects slot to add in these MIDI effects, such as the arpeggiator or whatever. Okay, but otherwise it hasn't changed. It's exactly the same. Nothing's changed. Okay, you don't need to get worried. And all the tutorials that I've done so far are exactly the same in this Logic Pro. It just looks different. Okay. So there's your basic introduction to the layout and the look of Logic Pro, and how, if anything, it's changed. And it's just a matter of, as I say, a couple of menus have moved up here. The track menu and the mix menu have moved up there. Everything else is the same. Okay, and this is, as I say, Logic in its basic unadvanced mode, which I recommend you to use if you're new to the program. Okay, and then once you're used to the program and you've got familiar with it and you're flying around, you can think, okay, I'll bring in these additional features now. And then all you do is you go Logic Pro X menu, preferences, open your preferences menu, go to advanced, and just tick show advanced tools. Let me just close the mixer first, and I'm going to get rid of that track. Let's move back up there. No, actually I'll put it on muted bass. Let's get rid of these tracks. So we just got, no, not you. There's no region on this track. Okay, just make it like that. Yeah, so There's Logic Pro in its basic unadvanced mode, GarageBand Pro with the wooden side cheeks and all the advanced stuff removed, so it's really simple to use. Just go to your preferences menu, go to advanced, and we tick show advanced tools, and we then put Logic into advanced mode. Are you ready? Boom. There it is. It looks the same, right? It doesn't suddenly change and become completely ununderstandable when you put it into advanced mode. That's why I wanted to show you first in basic mode. All that's happened is when we put it into advanced mode, it brings in the extra features. That's it. So there you are. This is now in advanced mode. The wooden side cheeks disappear, and straight away we've got more stuff in the preferences menu. We've got two toolboxes, command click and left click. Our snap menus are back now. Our drag menu for arrange area is now back in the editor. Piano edit, we've now got our snap back. We've got two toolboxes. Our menus are now full. They've now got all the features like MIDI transform. It's all the menus are now back where they were, like Logic 9. Yeah. The mix menu's got more stuff in it now. The track menu's got more. All the menus got more stuff in now. We've got one extra icon here, which allows us to bring in this toolbar. You can hide and show that. We can now edit the transport bar, change all the things that are on here, take out things, put things in we want. We can have the toolbar, we can edit that as well and bring things out and put things in. Okay. The parameter boxes now, they've just got more stuff in, that's all. Look, there's more stuff in the track parameter box. And in the region parameter box, it's now got this more drop down thing to extend into the extra controls. So all that happens is these just have more features now. The local menu bars just have more features. You've now got snap and two tools, But it's the same. It's just more features now, right? On the piano edit local menu bar, two tools. The snap menu is now here. But now we've also got the MIDI in and out. They're now there. Okay, but everything else is the same. Just the menus are bigger. Okay? And now we're in advanced mode. We now have the step editor, which was... Well, it's called Step Editor now. This was Hyper Edit, the one with the lanes that you could put into general MIDI drum mode and make your own drum maps, right? There it is. It's back. Okay? When you're in advanced mode, you now have a choice of piano roll, score, or the Step Editor, as it's now called, which is Hyper Edit. Okay? So that's another change that happens. The other change is that we can edit our transport bar now. Anything we want can be edited. We now have our list editors. That's now in. We're in advanced event markers, tempo and time signature list edits. Our media has now beefed up. When it was in basic mode, we only had media on this button here, right? Just with audio and movies. But now we've got project and all files where you can browse your network and attach discs and all the rest of it, Okay. That's another thing that's changed. The LCD display area here can go into different modes now. We've still got the same 4 basic modes as when it was set in basic. But now we can put it into custom and we get everything back we're used to. The CPU indicator, hard disk indicator, MIDI in out, activity indicators and everything. And importantly, we can now access the division for the project. Which means that, look at the grid behind on the track area, look. There it is. In basic mode, right, the grid in the track arrange area is permanently in 16ths. Okay. And in the piano edit, the grid is permanently in 16ths. But now that we're in advanced and we can get this toolbar into custom, or this LCD display, sorry, into custom, we can now access here the divisions. And we can change it, which changes the grid. So we're in 16ths in the piano edit, look, change it to 30 seconds. Boom, see, the grid changes to 30 seconds. Also the grid changes to 30 seconds in the arrange area, or 64ths, or 8ths, or whatever you like. So we can do all that now. And we can edit this LCD display. We can put it into this custom so it shows everything, but we can knock things out we don't want. So we can right click, customize control bar and display. And there's the LCD display there. We can, like, if we think, well, I don't want the MIDI activity because I'm not doing external MIDI or anything like that. I don't want the load meters, get rid of those. Boom, but I still want to have access to my my resolution for the project, you know, to change the grid and stuff. You can do anything you want now. It's all completely editable. Okay. Okay, there we are. So that's, you know, basically what happens when you switch it into advanced. It doesn't change, you just get more features. Alright? Absolutely brilliant. And if we look at the mixer quickly, nothing's changed there either, except we now got access to knock in and out things in the mixer. We can switch it from single to tracks to all, and we can knock out things like the auxiliaries and buses, or we can take out audio tracks, or take out all the instruments, or take the outputs and master track, whatever we like. And we can flip between different views, single track or all. Okay? But nothing's changed. It's exactly the same. Exactly the same. Oh, another thing we have now is let's close the editor, the mixer. Sorry. Another thing we have now that we've put it into advanced mode is we've got the step up icon there, which will come into play if we're using folders, but you don't get folders in the basic mode of Logic. We've now got duplicate track, you know, new track with duplicate settings, and we've got an extra now. We now have markers. Whereas in the cut down version we had the global tracks showing the arrangement markers, signature, tempo and movies, but now we're in advanced mode. The global tracks have got more things. We can drop down just the markers, or the global tracks which includes the markers, and these can be knocked, anything in here can be knocked in or out. We can show additionally the movie, transpositions, beat mapping, etc. and take out things we don't want. Okay, so that's all new when you've switched it into the advanced. Yeah, you know, so you know, there's more other things we can change in advanced, but I want to leave it at that because this will go on too long. But there you go. That's Logic in its basic primary GarageBand Pro mode, and then you switch it into advanced, and suddenly all the extra things come in: the the snap menus, the extra tools, the advanced, more things in the menu, more choices in the parameter boxes, you know, and the ability to edit things. And the other thing is your preferences. Now you've got your full preferences that you're in advanced. You've got access to your editing menu here and your catch. You've got an audio menu like before, but now, oh, come on, switch, come on. Yeah, you've got your audio menu now as before, but whereas before you could only change the sound card device or select the sound card device, choose the buffer size, and optionally choose 24-bit recording. Now all the extras are in, look. Okay, as well as resetting out assignments general, and we've still got the MP3 preferences. We've got a MIDI menu now with general and sync, all the usual stuff: display, score, movie, automation, and advanced. Now that it's ticked, gives us the choice to bring in additional advanced features, which we'll come to. Okay, so the menu gets, of course, your preferences get bigger. The other thing that happens, of course, is that you now have a control surfaces menu, and we can now edit our key commands. That we're in advanced, we get key commands edit. We can still have the presets, the different language presets, but we can now edit our key commands. Okay. And so that's it. There's more advanced things we can get into, but let's leave it at that. That's the basic mode of Logic, and then how to switch it into the advanced mode. And all I've showed you is the layout of the new Logic. How much it's the same as the old one. It's the same. It's just had a graphic makeover, and they've called the editors a couple of different things. And there's a couple of new features. There's a new synth. There's a new amp. You know what I mean? And there's a new arpeggiator, and there's this new drummer. But we'll get to all that. But what you need to know, if you're transitioning from old Logic 9, or you're coming into from the cold, so to speak, as a new Logic user, or from GarageBand, that's the layout of Logic Pro, and how things switch in and out, and everything like that. Okay. And lastly, just before we go, what's very clever about this new Logic, and this is nothing to do with which mode you have Logic in now, this is just generally for this Logic X, is of course it's all downloads now. So you're not going to the shop and bringing home that enormous Logic box in a wheelbarrow like before, with, you know, a library of bloody great heavy books and everything, and then installing it, which takes hours and hours from DVD. It's download now. So when you download the Logic Pro X program, you download a basic 4 GB file. Okay, it's small, and it sets Logic up, and it gives you some of the content, but not all the content. And that's the last thing I want to show you before we stop and then move on, you know, with the next bit where we come back and show more. Download additional content. As I say, once you download the basic program, which comes with just a basic selection of presets and sounds, you can then go, and any time you can download additional content as and when you choose. And it tells you if you've, because you can be in the middle of downloading some content, and then you think, oh, I actually need to stop working now and close Logic. You go to close Logic and it says to you, you're still downloading this content. What do you want to do? So you're going to close Logic, fine. Logic will close, but the content will keep downloading. Or do you want to cancel downloading the content and do it later? You just say, oh, I'll do it later. So that's why I've got some of these things saying incomplete, because I started to download them but didn't finish and decided to close the program and cancel the installation and download of the content until another time. So if I want to continue downloading this drum kit content, which in total is 14 gigabyte in size, that's for the drummer. Okay, I've downloaded the songwriter kits because that says installed. I've downloaded the R&B kits because that says installed. But I can download the rock kits and the alternative kits, which are 1.4 and 1.8 gig. So you tick what you want to download and click install, and it downloads and installs it. It's a fantastic idea, absolutely brilliant. And that includes reverbs and instruments, and then all the old legacy stuff as well. You can get all that, look, gigabytes upon gigabytes of it, all the old Logic stuff and all the jam packs. And your essential sounds is what you get. You get the essential sounds, and you get a 1 or 2 basic drummer kits, and you get a couple of drum machine kits. You only get about 4 drum machine kits, so you need to download and install those. I've done that already. See what I mean? So that's the way Logic works as well in terms of getting the rest of the content. You know, you download it as and when you need it. Okay, so there you go. That's the new Logic Pro. In terms of the basics of the layout and its different modes and everything like that. And I hope that's been useful. And as I say, you know, if you've been following my tutorials, don't worry, everything I've taught you, it's still the same in this Logic, exactly the same. It just may be that some of the menus have changed. I'll give you one example. You're in track automation. Remember that whole thing in the tutorials where we took the track automation and dumped it into the region as hyperdraw? So then that control data was living inside the region. Or we took the hyperdraw and transferred it out of the region back into track automation. Well, that used to be in the menu here on the local menu bar, right? But it's now up in the mix menu, look. Convert automation. But they're now calling hyperdraw, you know, the MIDI control data that lives in a region, they're calling that MIDI draw now. So the menu now says, look, convert all MIDI draw or visible MIDI draw to automation, or convert visible track automation or all track automation to MIDI draw. But it's up here in a different menu, that's all. Okay? But everything I've taught you is the same. There's no need to worry. Alrighty. So there you go. There's your introduction to Logic Pro X, and we'll come back and start looking at the stuff in more depth. Okay. See you for the next one.